to be here in Margaret River and just to have a chat with you and let you know a little bit about our bush chaplaincy.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Good to be here.
I hear that it took you 3 days to get here.
You did this time? Yes.
It's a big trip to make, so very grateful.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we left Marble Bar, went to Tom Price, did where we're supposedly living, and then back in the car, breaking the journey at Northampton on the way to Perth.
Any mishaps along the way?
Just a couple of flat tyres that happened at the right time, I must say, so that we could actually effectively deal with it without an absolute crisis.
Just backing up a little bit, can you maybe just share a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, how you came to be in ministry?
Yes. I was happily retired in Dunsborough, having spent 20 years full-time as a military chaplain, thinking that I could then go and enjoy gardening and drinking a glass of wine in the beautiful Margaret River area. And then someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, I reckon you'd be a good candidate for doing the Disaster Relief and Community Recovery Working Group, which I quite willingly consented to. And I've been doing that particular role for almost 10 years now. And that led me into ministry in the Midwest as a disaster recovery chaplain. When I was in that job for about 18 months, I was tapped on the shoulder again and said, we've got this vacancy in the Pilbara and we think that you're the right person to do that job. So off we go again into the Pilbara.
It's amazing. I love your willingness to keep saying yes.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about what life in the Pilbara is like and what kind of work you do up there?
Yes, it was. So worked a little bit around Tom Price and could see where the particular areas of need were, particularly in Aboriginal communities, Wakathuni, and amongst some of the disadvantaged people within the town of Tom Price, in particular programs. But our work led us mainly to the East Pilbara, particularly in Headland, where I worked with a culturally and linguistically diverse congregation of Fijians who have now become a faith community of the Uniting Church, and been working with them to refurbish the old Uniting Church building in Port Hedland for use as their worship centre. So things sort of evolved that way. When I was visiting Marble Bar, I spoke with people in the town, and there was a particular need from one particular person who shared their vision for what they had for youth in the town, and we established what is now known as the Marble Bar Youth Project.
So I hear two exciting things are happening in both of those spaces, with the church opening and something else happening in Marble Bar. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, so Christy is our coordinator of that program in Marble Bar. She was the pool manager in Marble Bar up until like end of last year, I think it was, and she moved to South Headland, but had a real passion and desire to do something with the youth who she had established a very good rapport with over 3 years when she was managing a pool. So we chatted together and put our heads together to develop a program that she had a vision for. And Frontier Services came to the party, put together a application for funding, which we were successful in getting, and that program commenced on the 1st of February this year. So every 2 weeks we have this youth program that started with really good numbers, and we've soared up to about 23 people at the moment and could go bigger. But it is a great program reaching mainly First Nations people, who have really taken to it and derive a great deal of benefit from the connections that we have there. It was from that particular engagement that I now find myself organising a baptism for about 23 people, which is going to occur in July this year, around the 13th of July. We're pretty excited about that prospect.
That's very exciting. Wow.
So we've done a recce. We looked at the area and realised the limitations of the space, but also the very important connection we'll have with the First Nations people, particularly the families who see that the baptism is part of a bigger picture for them. They see their communities being challenged by a number of things that have been unfortunate in their communities that they would like to address, and they see that a faith-based organisation like Uniting Church Frontier Services will give them a good foundation for perhaps building a stronger community together.
That's really beautiful. And can you tell me a little bit about the church in Port Hedland and what's happening very soon in that space?
Absolutely. So the Fijians became a faith community of the Uniting Church in November last year, and they're working towards being recognised as a congregation of the Uniting Church. It took several months to get the church refurbished. These Fijian families have spent every Saturday since February and some of the public holidays in between, like Easter and so on, doing work at the church to make it a very pleasant and desirable place to hold their worship services and their culturally appropriate celebrations as well. They show a lot of hospitality to people who come to their community, and part of that is telenoa, chatting, and part of that is the kava ceremony to welcome people to the community. They've also reached out to us in Frontier Services, me as the Patrol Padre, and helping me with the service that I do on Anzac Day at ADML Beach. So they contributed to the service by a couple of hymns, but more so the fellowship around that particular event at ADML Beach. And one of the members of that congregation, he will be helping me with the marble bar, setting up the marble bar, planting of that particular faith community in that place as well. So they are very, very keen supporters of the work we're doing, and I just love the fellowship that I have with them. I do a monthly communion service with them, but they are genuinely self-supporting.
So it's great to have a church up there that's so supportive.
Yes.
For a church like Margaret River Uniting Church down here, how can we best support the work that you're doing up there?
For me and my wife Diane, Margaret River is also our spiritual base as well. So having been establishing ourselves back in the southwest, theoretically retiring, we decided that Margaret River was going to be the church that we would be attending. So there is an emotional connection we have with Margaret River, and it's good that we've established some good friendships in the congregation, and we naturally, when we come back to the southwest, we like to reconnect with our church family there.
No, good. And I definitely wanted to ask you, what part of your job do you love the most, and what part is the most challenging?
The part I love the most is the connection I have with particularly First Nations families. We've established a program in partnership with the Ashburton Aboriginal Corporation in Irrangadji community, which is near Nullagine. I do a monthly barbecue, and I have a pop-up op shop that from clothes and other items that I've been able to gather from churches in Perth and other areas. These churches I've had a connection by going along and sharing what we do in these communities, and they have responded by providing these second-hand goods that I can take up to these communities that are in desperate need. And they very much welcome our connection with them. So it's a bit of a legend on the grapevine now. They're expecting me to keep coming with them my barbecue every month and bringing those goodies in bags that they can come and rifle through and find out what they can use.
That's so special.
It is.
Yeah. And how about what is most challenging for you?
Probably the most challenging thing is the size of the patrol. Twice the size of Victoria, and the need is so great that we've had to be very selective about where we're going to put most of our effort. So the East Pilbara has become the focus. We would like to see 2 patrol ministries in the Pilbara, one based around Tom Price and the other one based around Headland, where we have manses and we could accommodate ministry in it.
It's exciting to think that you could potentially have 2 patrols. If someone was interested in filling that role and wanted to know, what it takes, what it would be like, what kind of person you need to be, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say they have to be self-starters. They have to be really committed, really have a desire to connect with the First Nations people, because that's where I see the greatest need in these communities. Not a lot of employment for them. The presence of a number of disturbing type of influences like alcohol and drugs and family violence can be significant in these communities. And so they just need people to stand with them as they address those kinds of issues that impact them so seriously. A lot of health issues because of the conditions in which they find themselves living.
So thinking about all those issues, have you managed to build a network with other organisations that you're able to refer people to and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so that's one of the main things I tried to do in my very first months in the patrol, is find out exactly what there is out there to support these families and these communities. So I was able to do a quick scoot around, find out what other organisations were there and what their particular roles were and what they do that they could help, so I could refer people to them. Or that at least I know where to go to get the information, to get more intensive help to families who might be needing that kind of support. One of the interesting things that I found, particularly in the Pilbara, visiting some of these more isolated, remote communities, is in a lot of cases, the churches haven't been there for a number of years. And so for them, having the bush chaplain come on a regular basis, and that's another important piece of it, is making sure you show up time after time on a regular basis, and I do so monthly. They have really responded positively to that.
In rural country towns, You don't have the services that you have in bigger areas. You can't just make an appointment to see a counsellor, you can't make an appointment to go and see a hairdresser and things like that. David comes out, he'll talk to people, he'll help people through.
Services are scarce, so it's good to be able to make a contribution.
What he's brought to me has been such a fantastic part of my life.
And now I get a lot of people reaching out to me, knowing that I'm coming to events that might be useful for me to connect with the community. So, for example, in Marble Bar, I'm a member of a little sporting group called Pickleball, which is a great opportunity for me to mix with people in the community. It's been a really positive gathering of people, and with me being there and engaging in conversations has provided some really good connections. That's probably the biggest skill that a bush chaplain has, good at listening, good at connecting, and we've got an organisation we can reach back to provide support if it's needed. And because of having done that research into what is available to support people in particular situations, we've got organisations we can link others to get the professional help they need.
It sounds like you give a lot of yourself,
Yes.
a lot of your time and your energy. How do you, in terms of your own spirituality, how do you replenish and re-energize and get yourself into a space where you're able to give so much?
Well, I have a very supportive wife who is a great encourager and will remind me that I need to take some time out for myself, and she needs time with me as well. So we go to these communities in our caravan, and if we do need to have a bit of time out, we can go somewhere nice and just relax. But she's my number one supporter.
That's really lovely. How important is it for you to know that people are praying for you?
Vitally important, and I'm very strongly aware of the network of the Uniting Church that are engaged in supporting the work I do. We do find that when we're in the Pilbara, we're not really taking a lot of time off. So it's almost like every day, 7 days a week, we are doing something related to the work.
Well, it's really good to talk to you, David. Thank you so much for making the trip and giving us your time.
Pleasure.
And just want to assure you and Diane of our love and our prayers. We think of you often, and we look forward to whenever you visit. And we're very inspired by what you're doing
Excellent.
up in the Pilbara. So thank you.
Thank you, Craig. It's good having a conversation with you.